What's up, people? Good morning to you guys. It's been a while. I know it's been some days, over a little bit of a week now. I've not brought you any videos. Today, it's another video day. Now you can see my rabbits are out there and stuff like that. So as you can see in the title, it's going to be about mistakes of rabbit farming. Now, I'm a beginner. I started in January this year, and so I'm a little over 2 months, and hopefully by the end of this month, it will be 3 months while farming. I bought 3 rabbits for the start, and I have one other cage I started with. I'll show you guys in a bit. Then I moved to this one. Now within this 2.5 months of starting, I've made a few mistakes, and there are things you should never do, things you should consider before you start a rabbit farm. Now, mistake number 1 that I did was the fact that I got these 3 you're seeing down here. These 3, I got all of them from one farmer. These very 3, 1, 2, 3. Generally, I got them because it was a friend that was selling it, you know, someone I knew back then who used to keep a lot of rabbits, and when I went there, he was keeping a lot of rabbits. Why did I say it's a mistake? Is because he confessed to me that he wasn't having time for them. He didn't have enough time for the rabbits, and so what he ended up doing is that he let all the rabbits out of the cage, and by so doing, all the rabbits were just interacting with each other. So for that reason, the ones I just showed you, I don't know how old they are. He just presumed they may be somewhere around 4 months, 5 months, and then I concluded I would have to keep them for 2 whole months before I introduced them to a male. You get it? So from January, February, I didn't let anybody touch them, and then I introduced them to a male on March 5th. I just crossed them, and I'm just waiting to see if they will actually conceive or not, because they were actually on heat, and so we see how it goes. That's mistake number 1. Don't say because someone is your friend, you just go and get things for them. You discard what is necessary, like looking at the environment. What is the state in which the farmer is keeping the animals? Do you want to start a rabbit farm by the cage system, or you want to go into the colony system? If the person is doing the colony system, then of course you can take it from him and then ask him a lot of questions and all that kind of stuff. And that is one mistake that I did, and it leads into the second one. Now, because I just took it from him, because of the trust I had from him, I didn't actually check if they were having certain diseases and all that stuff. So I brought them home, and then later, you guys saw it. I made a video about 3-4 weeks ago when I was treating them of mange disease, right? They were all affected. I saw it on the white one first as I brought them home, but I didn't really pay attention to it because I thought it was something normal, right? Because it's been a while. Now, guys, bear in mind, the first time I kept rabbits was actually in somewhere 2001, 2002. That was the first time I actually started raising rabbits, but it was all for fun. Now I'm going into it a bit more serious, and so that is why I'm paying attention to all these things. And I forgot a few things, you know. Back then you would forget a lot of things, and so watch where they are kept and ignore the fact that someone is your friend, and so what, you won't look at certain things very well. It's very critical to always pay attention, because when you buy rabbits from somewhere and they come and they get ill and they die, you lose money. Do not do that. Do not do that. Now for the second one, I'll take you to my other cage and we'll go into the third reason. This is where it all started. In this cage, I built this cage about 4 or 5 years ago. Let me say 5 years ago. This cage was built, and I brought the 3 rabbits that I brought into this one. It's quite spacious. It's very, very spacious than the other cage system you see over there that I moved on to. But this is what I want to show you. This is mistake number 3. Now, this mistake, whenever you're making the cage, you see the wooden side, this wood that is lying down here should be on the outside, right? Never let the metal mesh, this mesh, be on top of the wood like you see right here, because what do the rabbits do? They go to that very corner, and that is exactly where they decide to pee, and they go they let their feces and everything down in those corners, and what happens is that you will not be able to clean them. You see how it looks? You won't be able to clean them, and it will go on being dirty like that. And what happens is that because they are clean animals, it will start giving them diseases upon diseases. And so whenever you are building your cage, please take take care that you don't include, you see how it looks like, you don't do this thing. And this was actually built by a carpenter, and so I don't know, he went with the easiest way route, but then the structure is strong on its own. You get it? The structure is very strong. And what happens is that when it's in the corners and they urinate and all that stuff, you should choose steel work that will hold well for you. See, all these ones are breaking. You get it? All these ones are not strong anymore. And so I have to remove this because I'm coming to take this thing out of here, create a new layer, and then I'll win my rabbits in here so they have like a bigger space to be as kids. So this is where I'm coming to keep them, so I'm not discarding this one yet. So this is one of the mistakes that you don't have to find yourself in. I'm back here again with mistake number 4. So for mistake number 4, it's going to be a very critical one. Now, I know when you want to buy rabbits or you want to start rabbit farming, some people consider going for rabbits that are already pregnant. Some also would like to buy them and cross them immediately and all that. I did all 3. So for example, the 3 I showed you down there, they weren't pregnant. They were ones that you usually buy them to raise them and then you cross them. And so you buy them at 3 months old or 4 months old, and then you keep them until they are like 5-6 months, and then you cross them and then you get your babies. These other ones you see, the middle row you see, so you see this one right there, this one, and then this very one at the tail end here. Those ones, I bought them while they were all supposedly pregnant. Now, they were supposed to litter on the 22nd, anywhere between 20th and 22nd of February. But guess what? Today is 15th of March, and none of them delivered. Yeah. None of them delivered. None of them were pregnant. Now, that is the mistake. You shouldn't take the word of another farmer for that. I mean, if you're already experienced and you can palpate the animals to know if they are actually pregnant, then so be it. Feel free and do that. But what I will tell you to do though is this. So this rabbit right here has littered. It has 6 beautiful kids for me. And what I did was that when I visited the farm, it was ready for crossing. It was ready to breed. And so right in front of me, I bred him, and I know for sure that he was bred, and I brought it to the farm. And guess what? Just when I expected it to deliver, on the 2nd of March, it did deliver and has 6 amazing kids. Now the kids are 2 weeks old, almost. Tomorrow they'll be 2 weeks old, and then I'll try to like give you updates on it very soon. I'll do another video and let's give you updates on it. So look at them. Look at them. 6 beautiful ones. There is some hiding here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And their mom, as usual, always in the corner right there trying to rest. Their eyes are already opened. Their eyes open on the 9th day, and so this is something you guys can check. Now for this one, you should also know and ask yourself which type of rabbits, or what is the end goal? Which type of rabbits do you want to go for? What type of breeds do you want to go for? Don't make the mistake of just going around and just bringing rabbits on your farm for no reason. You should know exactly what it is for. Are you trying to raise rabbits for petting, for people to resell, for people to just use as pets at home and all that kind of stuff? If that is it, then there are some rabbit breeds you shouldn't go for, right? But if your reason is for meat purposes, then of course there are certain breeds that are also good for meat purposes. And so you should learn these things and know, and though you don't commit those mistakes. Let's go to mistake number 5. Another thing you should consider, which will be mistake number 5, is look around your area, your surrounding, where you live. Before you go into rabbit farming, look at what you have available to you in terms of food, what you will be feeding your rabbits. Now, they eat a lot of things. Now, right here on in the house, you can see on the compound there's grass all over. This grass, they eat all the grasses. They eat all the grasses. Now, right up here is the mango tree. They eat from the mango tree too. There's a pear tree there. There's a banana or plantain tree. They eat from all that stuff. I have dandelions at home. I have a noni plant at home. They eat all those things. But when you want to go or scale up, it's not going to cut it, because you can't feed them that all the time. So one way you can get to know how to find food around your area is to network with other farmers who are doing the same thing. So you look for other rabbit farmers and they will tell you, oh, there is this corner right here where we usually go to get food. And then you look at the abundance of it and if it meets your demand. And so for me in my area, for example, although I have all these things available to me, there's a place I have to drive a place about, let's say, nearly 7-10 kilometers out from here. Let's go in and out. Let's say I'm driving about 15 kilometers out to get them grass, and that grass is actually the water spinach, very fresh one, of course, and it's in abundance. And it was I went to one area and I just decided to look on Google Maps to look for rabbit farmers around and to ask. You can always search on Google Farms. Those who have listed their farms on online, you would find them. You can also ask people around, do you know someone who is raising rabbits around? They will always show you someone. And then go there, talk to them and find out and try to talk to them. They'll show you something. Now, what I did next was that I decided that, okay, there are also healthy feeds alternative online. So I went online and I started checking and I found the pellets. I have a video on the pellets, so you guys can look through the channel. You'll find the video on the pellets. And then I went to the guy, Nat. His name is Nat Quote of Inshira Feeds or Big Bunny Farms, I think, yeah. Now, he was the one who told me about the mixes, the various mixes he had with the food and stuff like that. And then I decided to get it for a try. Now, why feeding is important and you shouldn't make this mistake is that wherever you are sourcing your rabbits from, you should know what they are fed over there. Rabbits are very picky. Right now, I've seen it for myself. They are very picky. For this short 2.5 months I've been doing this, I've realized that they are very picky. And so if they are used to a certain type of food and you bring them to your farm, if you're lucky, they will adjust immediately. But if you're not lucky, they will always have some corny behavior and stuff like that. And some of the things they will do, for example, some of the rabbits, like this one, for example, some will actually pee in their food. Some will also defecate in their food. Some will actually spill the whole food away. And so you waste a lot of money. And so you have to look at all these things. Do you have money to be able to, buy them feed all the time? And one of the things is that the feed, there's the pellet and then there's other, but I've tried both. Now for me, in where I live, I have issues with ants, these red ants. And so because of that, that awesome mix, that is with the soya bean, the grower mash and the groundnut husk and all that kind of stuff, there are a lot of farmers use. I've tried it on my farm. It's not good for me and my animals because anytime I put it in their feeding bowls, they are swamped by these ants because they also find things over there they like. But I've noticed that anytime I use the pellets, or let me not take, because I've stored some pellets in this one instead. Let me just open this and then show you what I mean. So this is how the pellets look like right here. You see, it's now caked. It's now caked, and so because of this, the ants don't have access to it. And so that is one thing I've realized, that anytime I use the pellets, the ants don't worry me. They don't bother me that much. You get it? Everything is important. Find a system that works for you to track your animals and understand them. These are the tips I will be giving. So far, these are the things I've learned, and these are the things I would like you to consider before you go into the rabbit farming, or else you may end up spending a lot of money. Why it is important to know your metrics and keep data. Data is not only about how old they are, when did you cross them, or so when did you breed them, when did it deliver, how many kids, and what to control inbreeding and all that stuff. That is not the only thing. I think there are important things we keep ignoring. Important things like how much water they actually drink, how much water the animals actually drink, so that you know whenever you think there's a shortage, what is causing the shortage. So for example, I've paid attention and I know that anytime I feed them on grass, anything plant-based related, they drink half of what they would usually drink on a day when they are feeding on pellets and feed. You get it? Because the pellets are heavy and so they make them drink a lot of water. Now, this very one you're seeing right here, I'll show you something. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll of course show the indication with my hand. So the bucket was full yesterday around here, and I went to bed and came back and it is somewhere here now. You get it? So from here to somewhere here, they've taken almost half a bucket of water. And these are some of the things you guys should be checking. You get it? It's very important. You always need to know how much food they take, how much so for example, I bought a new pellet recently, and anytime I fill this thing up, I feed them for about a day, or let's say 1.5 days. I know this is okay for them, and so then I have to calculate. So with this one now, how many of the pellets do I need? How many bags of the pellets I need? And so if you think you're buying a pellet, let's say 2 times in a month, which will cost you around 200 cedis or 190 cedis, you ask yourself, do you have that amount of money to be going that way all the time before they reach stages where you would sell them and all that kind of stuff? If you think it's not, start looking for alternatives. Do not start the rabbitry before you start considering all these things, or else you run into a ditch and you end up killing your dream and then killing them, slaughtering them and whatnot. Look for ways that is sustainable, that you can keep them, because the rabbits, they feed on a lot of different things, so you have to know a good way. So for me, what I've developed is that this thing, I want to continue to use it for like a month, the pellets, of course. So I will ration it, and so I have grass and things around me. So there are days, like maybe on the weekends, for example, I just drive out, I get them grass and I make them feed on grass. I don't give them any pellets. That way I save me 2 of this, you get it? And it continues like that. And so if I want to spend 200 cedis in a month and I think that is what I'm capable of, I'll spend it. If I think I'm not capable of spending it, I won't spend it. So guys, this is it. I hope you found this video very beneficial, and I hope you've learned something. Share with me in the comment section below what you also think about the rabbit farming, your experiences, mistakes you think other new farmers shouldn't be making, and even for experienced farmers, what other mistakes they do. One tip though is that you should also know what type of farming you want to do. Do you want to practice purely organic farming, or you want to do the usual thing where you'll be injecting them with chemicals here and there to cure them of certain diseases and all that kind of stuff? About diseases and all that, we will talk about that in another video, but these are things you should always check. But it's very, very, very important. So I hope you learned from some of these tips I shared with you and some of the mistakes that I have made, and I hope you also follow suit. Why I transitioned to this cage is for proper record keeping, and it's helping me a lot. It's efficient for me, and I think it's good, but it's expensive. It might not be like that for anybody else. And so my name is Modine. I'm a rabbit farmer, and I enjoy this a lot. I enjoy doing this a lot. And so guys, if you're out there and you want to start it, start today. But learn from my mistakes. Go out there, watch a lot of videos, make a lot of research, and know exactly what you're doing before you get yourself involved. I hope I've been able to bring you something better, and let's talk in the comment section below. Take care and peace out.